Welcome to another video on car maintenance on Mike's channel, and today we're doing the Pathfinder. We do the Pathfinder a lot, don't we? Yeah, it's because it's what I'm driving. Okay, so spark plugs. Spark plugs go like 100,000 miles now. This iridium, all this new technology, right? So I got 112,000 on this set of plugs, and I'm going to do them. Now, this is really a lot of fun. I've done plugs on my cars in the past. Never had to pull the intake manifold just to do plugs. Hey, let's take a look. We went on an exploratory mission to do spark plugs on a 2017 Nissan Pathfinder. Ooh, what a quest that was. So you went with me on the Explore, and together we tried to figure out what needed to be done. If you stayed with the video this long, you get an added bonus. Now you get the benefit of my experience in order, hopefully without forgetting anything, what you need to do the spark plugs. Let's go have a look. So in order, you will disconnect the battery. Make sure that you don't allow the positive connection to slide into the battery terminal. Again, you can use that cover over the terminal to protect it from that. You're going to disconnect the battery. You're going to remove this air ram from the front. There's a couple bolts on each end. You take those out, disconnect it from where it connects to the filter housing, and remove that. You're going to disconnect the filter housing. You're going to disconnect the mass airflow sensor connector in the back. Okay, you'll probably have to cut the wire tie that holds it down over here. You're going to unscrew the clamp over here, and you're going to remove the top of the filter housing. You're going to take that right out. So now you've got this air intake off. You're going to take out the bolts for the bracket that hold the brake reservoir on, and you're going to move that to the side so it's out of your way. When that's out of your way, you're going to disconnect this clamp right here that connects this hose to this box that connects to the intake. This is the return for the PCV. Did I say that right? Yeah, PCV. So you're going to disconnect that. With the brake reservoir out of the way, you're going to loosen this bracket on the other side of the hose over here. If you can see that back there. You're going to loosen that, and then you're going to remove this piece of hose. So the piece of hose that goes between the housing on the filter and the throttle body, you're just going to take that whole thing right out of there. Once you get that out, you're going to loosen the screws, and these are hex nuts, or also known as, I think, Allen wrenches. And you're going to take the 4 bolts out of that, and you're going to remove the throttle body from the air intake. I tried to leave it on earlier, but it just doesn't jive. There are other things connected to that, and it makes it a pain in the butt. So it has to go. Note, there is a rubber gasket on the throttle body. There is a rubber gasket on the intake housing. You're probably better off purchasing both of those before you start this project in case you need them. So next thing you're going to do, you're going to disconnect right here. You're going to take this clamp off and disconnect this hose right here, okay? And then you're going to take out this nut, the screw right here. You're going to take this screw out, and you're going to remove this. You're going to disconnect the electrical here, here, and here. Disconnect all 3 of the electrical. Now that you've got the bolt out here and you've got this disconnected, this just swings out of the way. You can swing that out of your way. Move these electrical connections down so they're not in your way. There is a hose right here. This hose is going to remain connected. This is the one hose that stays connected, that connects your intake housing to anything. That's the last connection. You can leave that because we're just going to swing that out of the way once we're ready to move it, okay? So, following along, staying with me, okay? There is a bolt down here. You're going to remove this bolt. You're going to disconnect this electrical connection here, move the electrical connection out of the way, and then these hoses and this device will come up here, and it will just move with It will move with the air intake as you need to move it. Now you're going to go over here and you're going to, using your fingers, remove this electrical box from its bracket. You're going to swing that up out of the way, and then you're going to remove the bolts that hold the bracket on. You're going to remove that bracket. Okay? So now you've got the electrical box and the bracket out of the way. Down inside, in the back, and you really can't see them, so I hope you watched the earlier parts of the video. There are two hoses down there that need to be disconnected, and there's also the electrical wire for an O2 sensor, and it actually is, believe it or not, the wire goes over a bracket in the back of the air intake. So if you watched the earlier part of the video, you saw the two hoses. You can kind of see one back here. Oh, I gotta go back there. I gotta go back there. Look what I did. Yep, I gotta go back. So there are two hoses back there, and you need to make sure that those get disconnected. And you remove the electrical wire for the O2 sensor so it's not connected to the back of that. So once you've got all that done, then you're going to remove the bolts that hold down the air intake and remove those. And then this whole air intake is going to just come up, you know, just shake it a little bit, you know, wiggle it up, and then just swing it around, and you're just going to set it right over here out of your way. And then you'll be able to get at all 6 spark plugs. So that is spark plugs on a 2017 Nissan Pathfinder. Hope you had fun with that video. That's a lot of work for you. A lot of you people will never see this video for years, but when you get around to it, the plugs are rated for about 105,000 miles. I went 112, and yeah, it could be running better. I recommend definitely, at least what the manufacturer says, if not sooner. Okay, there are a few of you out there, and you know who you are, who will need to do these plugs soon. So there you have it. Take it to the dealer, $680. Did it myself for probably less than $100.